Good. So we are talking about neuro-linguistic programming tonight. Who already knows about it? Have you heard about it, Rick Ketke?
Yeah, I've just heard
Vanessa?
about it. That's why I joined the program.
You are here to hear more about neuro-linguistic programming. And
Correct, correct,
Vanessa?
correct.
I just read the introduction and I thought it's really interesting and I want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
And Lujane? How do you repronounce your name?
The Dane, yeah.
Lujane, nice, nice, nice. So I'm Dr. Doris, and I do what I do since 35 years. And I train in all and certify, internationally certify in all levels of NLP and emotional intelligence. And neuro-linguistic programming is, you could say, the new age psychology. Are you a little bit familiar about psychology, Lujane, Vanessa, Ketke?
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a little story, and the story is the following. When I was studying psychology for 12 years, I did a lot of emotional release therapies. Like we would do things like beat up pillows to release anger, do extensive crying and laughing therapies. And, we used to laugh 3 hours without any pause with more than 50 people in the room. It's
Wow.
amazing. It's amazing. So within all these explorations, typically you would look at what is wrong. Like you would look at who has ADHD, attention deficit disorder, who is slightly bipolar, or all kinds of things. So I wanted to quickly share with you about one um, internship, it was called, within that psychology training. It was 3 months, 3 months full time, and we had 12 senior psychologist trainers, and we would come with clients. We, between part one and part two of the training, 3 times 3 months, we would see clients, and then we would come with the client and discuss in the whole group about what is going on. So it was kind of like a learning session. So I spent 7 hours with my client, Karen, who was diagnosed with what is called depression.
Oh.
And it was a little stage, and there was the senior trainer and me in the middle, and the client. And my client, Karen, came up very slowly, looking down. And then I declared to the whole group that I have worked with her 7 times 1 hour, but I'm not satisfied with the response. I'm not satisfied with the results, that I have a wonderful relationship with her, but I just, can't create the change that I want to create. All the clients were there, open to learn. They knew their case would be revealed, etc. And so there was this amazing trainer. I liked her the most. She was so radiant, and she was kind of a little different. She gave different instructions and gave different advices than all the other trainers. So this is what happened, and it changed my life. After I spoke about Karen, my beloved trainer Tanya said, "What did you think was your emotional difficulty?" And Karen rusted. And then Tanya said, "Maybe what you thought was your emotional difficulty is just a signal for you to do something differently." And Karen looked up. Her chest was different. Her breathing was different. She didn't smile. She never smiled, but she raised the corners of her mouth. And as she's raising the corners of her mouth, she said, oh, that, and walked off, thinking it was already done. And I was standing there going, oh my, in not even 1 minute, Tanya created greater results than I did in 7 times 1 hour sessions. So I was, with the next client came, the next session came, the next discussion came, and then all the clients left and only us counselors would sit together with the trainers on the stage. And we would go, what happened? Why did you do this? Why did you say this? And I couldn't wait and I couldn't wait. And I said, Tanya, how did you make Karen breathe different, look different, respond different, and better than I ever have in 7 hours? And Tanya said, and I said, look, you didn't even ask her where the depression is from. You didn't ask her how long she has depression. You didn't even ask her whether her parents have, whether her mother had depression. And, you didn't ask anything about the history, about the background of her situation. And that's when Tanya said, if you focus on problems, you may lose your eyes of the goal. I prefer to think that people don't have problems and people don't need fixing. People only need to learn how to reorganize their patterns of thinking. And I went, what? Reorganize their patterns of thinking? How interesting. And I wrote this down. And again, many questions, lots of things happen. And then the trainers had to leave with the bus into their hotel. And I was literally running after. I was that eager student who runs after the teacher. I ran after her, patting on her back and saying, Tanya, please let me know, what have you studied? You are thinking very differently. You are addressing the clients very differently. And that's when I heard the word neuro-linguistic programming for the first time. And I was writing it down. It was in 1987 in Seattle, Washington, USA. And so I wrote, are you with us, Ketki? Yeah? So I wrote down neuro-linguistic programming and she left. I couldn't ask any further question. And it was making me so curious because I thought, wow, neuro means thought, linguistic means talking, and it can probably mean how you talk to yourself inside and also how you talk to others. And all of this is a program already. And isn't it about reprogramming ourselves? So I tell you, this was before Google. Here I was with this complicated word, neuro-linguistic programming, and I wanted to find it. And it was not so easy to find it in 1987. It was just about 10 years old. Richard Bandler and John Grinder, the originators of NLP, started in the end of the 70s in Santa Cruz, California. So back to my story, I found a little note in a Bioladen, in a health food store, where it said, Raina Greenlake teaches NLP. So I knocked at Raina's door and I was in my first 18-day NLP training in 1987. And it was so revolutionary. It totally threw everything off. that I had learned about psychology, about problems, about emotions. And for the whole 18 days, we focused on how we can, work on the fabric that our thoughts are made of. We focused on what is it that you want to accomplish? What is really important to you and for you about that? And what is your purpose? So we would work on, forward-oriented sentences that would set our directions. So I remember one thing already on the second day of that NLP training. I had so many problems at that time in my first marriage. I don't want to tell the whole story. But in that training, you would write down what you want to program yourself with. And what I wrote down was, I'm increasing my trust in myself, and I'm learning about inner and outer leadership more and more. And this sentence I said 100 times. It was written on pink and on blue and hung up and loud and in and out, and so multi-sensory implications that I never in all these years forgot that sentence. I'm increasing my trust in myself, and I'm learning about inner and outer leadership more and more. And it changed my life. It changed that whole 18-day training changed my approach to clients and how I was working with people. And it was setting my new career. I was already having my own business, working with people, teaching workshops. And now I was taking one NLP training after the other, becoming a trainer, doing many of those trainings again and again, 20-day NLP master training several times. And now I am a master trainer, training trainers, certifying trainers, and I'm only one of 8 master trainers of the NLP Connection, the original society of NLP in the world. So you are speaking to a true senior and to someone who is absolutely, thoroughly passionate about neuro-linguistic programming. I'm also a meditator. Who meditates? No, Jane, do you meditate? No? Do you know a little bit about it?
Yeah, I know. I've tried it before.
So I apply NLP for meditation. In fact, I can say my life before, my meditation life before NLP and after NLP. Before I knew NLP, I was watching my negative internal dialogue for so long whenever I meditated. And with NLP, I learned how to influence and manage my thoughts in a way that I could just create greater and greater happiness. So welcome to becoming a successful NLP coach. Let me sit down again. To becoming a successful NLP coach. And if you do online training with me, one moment. It is just as engaging, as invigorating, and as motivating as in person, because you will be standing up, you will be moving around, we will use the body and go into changing states of mind and do just as much moving around and walking around and doing things as in the group room. And we have breakout rooms. Who has been in the breakout room in Zoom? Yes. So basically, you have on the bottom, Vanessa, on your Zoom, a little break out. No, maybe only me because I'm the host. But at any rate, so I can basically send you in little rooms where you talk to each other, where you do pair exercises or triad or small group exercises, just like if you're in the group room. And then again, we come all together and discuss all together. So online training is amazing. It's rocking. And guess what? Even after we successfully will have overcome this pandemic, it'll still be very attractive more than ever before. And there will be still many courses offered online and online only. Even just now, they said, oh, when are you coming to Dubai? And then they said, but you know, online is really great because we can recruit people from all over. For example, Lou Jane, I don't know, she would have come to Dubai, right? And the other day we had somebody from UK, then we had somebody from US. They were falling asleep though, because it was middle and then they were sitting there and then, it's middle of the night. But anyways, and then we had somebody with their child on the lap saying, I have waited for 3 years and I have to take care of my children. And I never, it was actually the husband, the wife had the job. And I wanted to take up NLP for so long. And now finally it's online and I can do it. And then we had trainers training online too. And there was 3 in line from Pakistan who could never come to India to attend my training. So online training makes a lot possible. It allows you to do many things. You can feel very free. You don't have to sit stiffly. You can get up and move around, and we always will if we do longer trainings. However, tonight is only going to be another 30, 45 minutes. So looking at NLP, I'd like to show, these are the certification bodies. Please remind me afterwards if you want to know anything about it. Basically, NLP becomes more and more popular because it helps everyone to increase their success, and it helps everyone to think differently. Everyone, I mean everyone who works with people, handles people, or interacts with people, which are many. So it's very much loved and liked by HR professionals, and it is it is really searched for by leaders in many ways, and basically, if we look at stress, anxiety, fear, frustration, irritation, anger, rage, lows, down, depression, relationship and sexual issues, it gives answers for everything. And in a way, you can use NLP to create greater satisfaction and contentment, to further and hone your inner peace and inner joy and inner silence, and particularly improve relationship, communication, motivation, persuasion, and so help on all levels. So this is a little example that I wanted to give. I always give little tools and you know, things that you can put in your pocket. We are a small group tonight, so here's Lou Jane's cat. Look, she couldn't bring those, and she couldn't bring her into the wellness center. Okay, I'll do a little example, okay? So, what is coaching, and what is particularly NLP coaching? Let's say we are working with instructions. How does it feel when I ask or instruct you the following. Let's say we are in a corporate group together, and in Dubai, we have to get things done by, let's say, 6 o'clock Thursdays. So let's say we are all in a team, and I say to you, it's Wednesday, and I say, get this job done by tomorrow, 6 latest. This is called direct instruction. It's with a period or even with an exclamation mark. Now, that was part 1. Part 2, I would ask you, I'm curious about our project X. What is actually in there for you? What are you committed to? And you would give an answer. And then I said, you know that it was supposed to be done already. So how can I count on you for doing everything you can so that we can complete it by tomorrow before we leave at 6 o'clock? Part 2. Now, what is the difference of part 1 and part 2 as of your experience?
Well, part 1 is so direct and like not. It's like bossing someone.
Yes,
Orders.
it's bossing someone. It's called direct orders. And Vanessa, in Germany, most of us are grown up like that. Our parents speak like this. Do this, do this. Jetzt mach das. Du sollst das machen. Du musst das machen. And you know what happens on the unconscious, if you would give a non-verbal response, what would that be? I would do this. What would you do? So in the last class, somebody did this. What would you do, Lu Jane?
I would roll my eyes.
Roll your eyes.
Yeah.
And Vanessa?
I would just say I do my best and I cannot do more as I am doing.
And how would you respond to part 2?
To Katu, if he want to give me direction?
No, part 2 was when I sat down with you. I asked you, what is your outcome? And I included you. Ketki, what is did you get the part 1 and part 2 part?
Yeah, I did. I was here.
So what is the difference? How would you respond differently to part 1 and then to part 2?
I think in part 2, I would respond better because then there's a room for, let's say, a conversation or communication.
Exactly.
If I've not done something, I will have to own up to that, and that will help me or maybe push me towards, like getting the work done.
Yeah.
I'll feel motivated maybe because I will feel included.
Yes. So basically telling and ordering creates 95% resistance. And people like to be addressed friendly, and people want to be asked questions. Oops. The system is a little slow through the Zoom, I think. So basically, when you are getting a little explanation and a reason, and when someone asks you and includes you, we are dealing with the principle of that neuro-linguistic programming is based on. Neuro-linguistic programming doesn't want to fix you. Neuro-linguistic programming doesn't say this and this is the problem. In fact, we avoid the psychometrics. We don't believe in all this labeling. You are this, you are that, you are suffering from depression, you are suffering from ADHD, from bipolar, from post-traumatic stress disorder. These are all labels. You know, when you put a label on someone, it's like you go to the shop and it says €2.50 or, 25 dirham. And it's kind of demeaning or humiliating, or at least not inclusive, it's exclusive. So neuro-linguistic programming studies the linguistics, uses the language that is most inclusive and that is most smart, because we need to ask the kind of questions that somebody can follow. If you just tip someone over the cliff, you get so much resistance. And that's why in so many work environments, when somebody is the boss and bosses you around, like Lou Jane said, it just doesn't work according to the possible end results we could create if we friendly together look at possibilities and look at how we want to do something together. So NLP help, we normally would do this exercise in a group room, but we have in the little rooms, but we have just done it already together. So the essence of coaching is asking questions. And neuro-linguistic programming helps you to master your emotions and mindsets. And it helps you to understand what is a judgment. What is an interpretation that everybody would actually do differently? And how can we give greatest justice to people's experiences? Oh, you have many cats, Lou Jane. You love cats? How many do you have? 4. Wow. So if I'd asked you, how is this room and moment for you? Could you please give a quick answer? Vanessa, what would you say?
Again, the question I didn't understand. How is the room?
How is this room and moment to you? Lou Jane, what would you say?
Like, you mean the session?
Yeah, how is this moment for you? It's just an example. Just give a response.
Calm.
Calm. How is this room and moment for you, Ketki?
Empowering.
Empowering. And for you, Vanessa?
I feel a little bit nervous, like sweaty.
Sweaty. Oh, why?
I don't know. I want to concentrate more, but I sit a long time on the computer, and now I have to be present with the internet, with this.
Yeah. Why don't you stay? Everyone, can you move around a little bit? Just move around and stretch. You don't have to sit still. In particular, move the hips.
Yeah.
And raise the knees so that you can be as comfortable as you possibly can. Yes, great. So when you say calm, Lou Jane, it actually shows the auditory word, because calm comes from hearing. When you say empowering, Ketki, may I have another question? How do you know that it is empowering to you?
Because this is something that I didn't know before. And for me, learning anything that is that I can put use to into it, I feel that is empowering.
You
So,
feel it.
Yeah.
So when she says feel, it means it's a kinesthetic word. And nervous. Now, after you moved around and after I told you, you don't have to sit still and look and stare and feel free. How is it now?
Yeah, it's better.
And how do you know it's better?
In my mind, and one person also said, yeah, just move around, and one person is like just stuck. but I have this two person who knows what is right and who knows what is wrong, but I cannot control which comes out, you know?
So when you go what is right and what is wrong, it's something that you say to yourself, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that would be, and see, when you watch Vanessa's non-verbal, is it okay we get a little close here? But we are only so few, so we basically look at each other's patterns. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Vanessa was actually also speaking about it, because when her hands do this, it means auditory. So she shows that she has used her internal audio first. That's all it means. We all have visual, audio, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory, because these are our 5 senses through which we perceive the world. And it's so simple. These 5 senses make our internal computation. So when we think by talking to ourselves, seeing pictures, feeling, and the olfactory gustatory component is a little, is also part, but mostly more in the subconscious. So basically, every thought you have is on the VAKOG internal representation pattern, and every emotion you have is also made of inner VAKOG. So in NLP, you learn sensory acuity. You first learn how you use your senses more. So for example, I'm inviting Vanessa. You don't have to sit still, move your body around and just loosen up, because maybe you can focus better and concentrate better when you move, because I don't want it to be serious. I wanted to have fun. So basically, it works with the pattern. It doesn't work with the interpretation. It works with nonverbals. It doesn't work with putting labels on a person. So if we go back to my internship with all my colleagues, we were studying my client's nonverbals. So she would normally be like that. And when she had an empowering thought, she would open her chest and she would change her face. See, you are already doing NLP all the time. You already know whether your beloved is angry with you or not before he or she even speaks, right? You know whether your parents have something going on because you can see on their facial expression even before they talk. So NLP says, let's study this and let's put it into a whole set of tools where we literally give you a whole book that helps you to analyze verbal, non-verbal patterns. And then, of course, it helps you with very elegant linguistic tools. For example, already in the first part of neuro-linguistic programming, if you should choose to join me on the 19th and 20th of March, you will learn what is called the meta model. It's 12 questions that are custom designed for you to ask the information you need. Because see, many times we relate or we are with each other, we don't understand and we don't know how to further the communication. So in NLP, you learn different language tools to investigate and to meet your communication partner more directly. And then it is all about questions. You learn many different questions that will help you how to guide someone. See, Rather than a psychologist look at Karen and say she breathes low, she hangs her shoulders, she talks negative, she cannot find joy in her life. Let's call her depressed. Bang! That's another label. €2.50, right? You get a label stuck to you. Whereas in NLP, we would go, what is it that you want? And maybe Karen would say, oh, I don't know. You'd ask her, what are some of the resources that you already have? When do you feel better? Oh, I feel better in the evening. I feel better when I have engaging conversations. Ah, what is it that you want to accomplish? So we ask questions that are forward oriented and positive. And with those questions, you get to speak what it is that you really want. Let me make another little interaction as the group is so small. So let's not focus on life, that's too big. And if we focus on the seminar, it's too small. But let's say if you would study NLP or if you would take up a course, for let's say 2 or 5 days, what is it that you would like to accomplish for yourself? What are some of your intermediate goals as of what you want to reach with your life, with your work? Maybe let's focus on what you would like to do professionally. What are you doing professionally, Ketki?
So currently, I'm not doing much. I'm a homemaker and a freelance marketing and advertising consultant. Yeah.
So what would you like to accomplish by expressing yourself with your work?
Primarily, I would want to maybe handle my own emotions well. I would want it to work on me. I mean, the entire course, so that I can use it on myself. And then I would further want to, let's say, take more courses and be a life coach and help as many people
So
by
you
helping myself.
you could imagine that life coaching would be something where you can express yourself even more.
Correct. Okay.
Nice. And when you become a life coach, I mean, marketing, you also help people. But life coaching, you will help much more specifically for someone to get out of a situation they don't want to be in and to enhance, their life, their joy, their relationships. What would it mean to you and for you to be able to do that, Ketki?
I have been doing a part of it from a very long time. I was not aware of it because, in your life, there are so many people who are emotionally dependent on you. So I've had, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but yes, some of my friends, my family members have really relied on me. They've opened up to me in terms of their emotional problems, you can say. So kind of, I have been, like coaching them till now, if I can call it so. So I'm just thinking, if I have something in me that I can help people, and I genuinely want to do that, because sometimes I undergo certain emotions that I feel I wish there was somebody to, handhold me, to tell me, okay, it's okay, let's work together. I will, get you out of this. So through this, I will work on myself, my emotions, and then gradually be able to professionally help others, that they don't
Yes,
need to be there in that position, that they feel that
exactly.
that's it.
Exactly. And you will learn this and see, why did I so quickly change? Not quickly. I've done psychology for 12 years. And not that I regret. Did I spend too much time analyzing? Yes. Now looking back. However, of course, as it is my job and I am teaching to groups day in, day out, it is very helpful if you have that knowledge. Now, NLP does it much more quickly, much more effectively. It simply helps you to help others in 60 to 75 minutes. So when you take up this course, you learn many techniques that you can help people with in 60 to 75 minutes. See, we don't believe in this whole 10 sessions. In psychology, we always said, okay, this client, 10 sessions. 10 sessions? No, I don't need no 10 sessions. Even if, to me, of course, Dr. Doris is known for anyone who cannot be fixed by anyone else comes to me, like complicated addiction issues, sexual abuse that could never been healed, and betray, and I don't need more than 5 sessions. I even had someone who was addicted to smoking for 40 years. I don't need more than 5 sessions. Now I need their willingness. So if somebody, for example, smokes for 40 years, that's a long time. So I might space it out that I do the first sessions after 4 days, then longer, and I give them tasks and I have them practice certain ways of how they replace what the smoking has done for them. So there is patterns that you learn that are really, really helpful. For example, about what is called depression, we know that it is an internal inability to draw, means visualize, the positive future. All people who suffer from what is called depression have that in common. Hanging down, looking down, stuck in negative feelings. Come on, you have a brain. You are not supposed to be stuck in some limbic responses or in some patterns. Get yourself out of it. You are meant to be on top of your thought. You are meant to be on top of your emotions. That's why we are not animals governed by the limbic brain, but we are intelligent human beings with this amazing, amazing neocortex and midbrain and so many abilities that language gives us. Imagine infinite numbers of words in every language. We are supposed to talk to ourselves, but in a way that we can be natural. I believe we are meant to be happy. I hope you join me in this belief. And so anything that makes you think you're not enough, or I can't do it, or what they call low confidence, or stuck, or procrastination, come on, we can figure it out. We can figure out anything. Now you need to believe it and want it. If you believe that you can change, you can. If you believe you are doomed, you will not, but you wouldn't be in this room. So this is a very easy recipe I can give you. As soon as a client sits in front of you and says, yes, I'm going to give you 1 or 1.5 hours. As soon as somebody pays you, let's say 1,000 dirham or 600 dirham for 1 or 1.5 hours, they are willing. They're not sitting there to slouch or to, lead you around by the nose. No, in Germany we say an der Nase. Wie heißt das?
An der Nase herumführen.
An der Nase herumführen. They are not leading you around with it. You can't translate it. It's German. They are not sitting there to joke. They're sitting there because they want you to help them. So in this course, you learn everything that you need to help others. And look forward in the level 1, in the first 5 days, you are learning a swish. It's an amazing stimulus interruption pattern, because see, we are so governed by stimuli. Oh, the sister talks like that. And as soon as the sister talks like that, I have these little dots. As soon as the sister talks like this, I talk like this, and then we fight. And we do this for 7 years every day. Sometimes we do it for all our life. And you find the same in corporate. There's this lady in this cubicle, and then there's the other lady in this cubicle, and they haggle and backstab and, you know, say negative things behind the back for years and years, but just because they don't know different. See, I think we should learn how to handle our emotions and our thoughts in school. So Ketki, as you are looking to, think about joining this course in level 1, there's a conflict integration method that exactly like you are saying it, you get the chance to do the session on yourself. What is my most, the one side and the other side? Like Vanessa, you said there's the one voice and the other voice. There's one voice that goes, come on, let's do this. And the other, but we have to. Right? So it's like self 1, self 2, or however you want to call it. Well, we need to listen a little bit, and we particularly need to pay attention on the level of structure, and then find a way to integrate the 2 different opinions in a way that they find a common denominator that will be there for them forever. In a way that solutions are found that really work. So if you continue Ketki, not only 5 days, but the whole course until you're a master coach, you will learn techniques that help for any difficulties, for example, compulsions, addictions. There's something that we call compelling futures. We make ourselves and the client think about, okay, so if I sit here and I don't do anything about my career wishes, for example, I don't do anything about me stepping up, but I just keep on sitting, taking the same little job, doing the same little work. Now, how's this going to be in 2 years from now? How is this going to be in 10 years from now? Oh my God, no, I don't want that. But nobody thinks about this. If you do something about it, you empower yourself. You learn to express yourself differently. You take charge. You go for the profession you really want. And you see that in 2 years from now. How's that going to look like and feel?
Great.
Then you make a picture in 10 years from now. How's that going to look like and feel? We uncover the reality of time, because time is real and time is coming. We have no time to just sit and wait. That's called compelling future. It's a technique. You learn the technique. Then there is a technique that is called timeline re-imprinting. We literally take a line. I have you buy a line online. We do online a line, and you lay that line out, and it will be the line of your life. And I guide you through, again, eloquent questions that have been thought about for so many years. Richard Bandler and John Grinder and Christina Hall, the lady who signs your certificate, is also from the 70s, from California. Amazing. She's my girlfriend. She's really amazing. Her name is Christina Hall. She will be on your certificate as a representative of the original society of NLP. So they sat down and they really thought, how can we, ask questions in a way that we can best help someone, and how can we in 1 hour, do a mini psychology where we ask the subconscious mind to come up with what is the most limiting event in the past. And we don't have to talk about it 10 hours or again and again and again. 3 minutes. I don't have someone be longer. So we put markers, and let's say this would be the past. So you step into the past for 3 to 5 minutes. Your subconscious mind will show you the traumatic event or something that was not in your conscious that happened in the past that makes you feel lower than thou, or you cannot do it, or whatever the problem is. Then we begin by, I put green for hope. We begin by the future. And you will first step into your future self and design yourself, describe yourself, project yourself as the one you really want to be. We call it the desired you, the evolved you, or you could say the wonderful you. For a moment, I would like you to just do this for 1 minute. Okay. Step into the you in the future. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 years from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Into the you that really lives herself optimally, wonderfully, the way she wants. And how does that the smile, Jane, and how does that you look like? How does it shine? Can you make it as magnificent as possible? The fantastic you. Now, not the you that doesn't make mistakes, because humans make mistakes. But maybe, rather than beating yourself up for making mistakes, it would be, okay, learn, move on. Look like, use voice. Maybe that you would use her voice a little more powerfully, emphatically, precisely, pronouncedly, determined, or more warm and compassionate, whatever you would design your future you, however you would design your future you. And we include again VAKOG and program it as powerfully as possibly by you stepping into it, feeling it, and looking out of those eyes and hearing out of those ears and feeling those feelings. And from there, we reprogram any event that was unresourceful, painful, emotionally hurtful, or unfortunate, because it happens. But what happens if you don't re-imprint, if you don't reprogram the negative in the past? It hunts you, it tears on you, it pulls on you. And that emotional pain often lives in our heart so long because it's like a stuck program. You know, the brain is like, remember the old albums? And there was the needle and the music and and it would repeat itself and repeat itself. And that's what happens inside of you. When you believe you can't do it, or you're not worth it, or you shouldn't do it, or when you do what is called procrastinating, what you really want, but doing other things that are not important. Something is stuck. It's just a stuck program, just like in your computer. You know, there's a virus, or something is stuck, or something doesn't work. It happens. But what happens is we fix our gadgets and computer. How fast? Something is broke, you get it fixed the same day, right? Correct, Lou Jane? Yeah, you get it fixed. And now this is not working, and you wait and you prolong and you procrastinate and you keep yourself in those helpless roles. And I'm here to tell you, stop it. I'm here to tell you, you can do it. And I'm here to tell you, please invest into yourself with time. And it costs a little money to empower yourself, to define what it is that you want, to step into what it is that you want, and to learn the magical patterns of thinking and speaking in a way that you can best influence yourself and others. Let me see which slide I wanted to show you. Escape. So in NLP coaching, you will learn how to significantly change your tools in coaching someone else through language. You will learn how you use language and speak to yourself what you want to think and feel, and not say what you don't want to think and feel. And really, NLP is particularly chosen and done to build positive mindsets. And how about exactly in this time? What a challenging time. How easy for people to put themselves in the passive position saying, oh, it's all so horrible and I cannot do anything about it. Well, they need you. They need a coach. They need someone who believes and someone who can help. Just like you said it, Ketki. Someone who holds you by the hand and leads you out of it. So Doris NLP uses the body for verifiable and measurable results and success. And we don't do just mind NLP that you can get in any of the courses, cheaper courses, junior, with people who have just read a book and then think they can teach it. With this training, you will get 3 trainings in one. It's an emotional intelligence training, it's a coaching training, and you learn the in and out of a neuro-linguistic programming. So when you look at these 2 logos, these are basically the 2 biggest NLP boards in the world. And because I'm a master trainer doing what I do since 35 years, I belong and certified through both of them. So those logos will be on your NLP Master Coach certification. Only on the, if you go all the way through all levels, one of the logos will also be on after 5 days, the ABNLP. What you will learn on the last day of your level 1 of your 5-day practitioner is the 8-step coaching process. And with this 8-step coaching process, you will already begin to help others, because it's simply questions that are very easy to use and questions that you can simply apply and use. So this is hopefully given you some ideas. And now I don't have it here, but I can share with you the timings. So if you want more than tonight, you can come and join me on the 19th and 20th of March, Friday and Saturday. Illuminations does the schedule according to corporate. So we do Friday, Saturdays, and weekends. So it will be 2 weekends, 19th, 20th, and the one after, and 2 evenings in between. And you will be an NLP master practitioner and learn so many things about reprogramming yourself. And then it will go hand in hand. One level this time, we are doing all levels after each other. So you literally in 17 days become an NLP master coach, and you can begin your career. So NLP master practitioner is with the completion of all classroom hours, and NLP master coach is when you give 10 sessions to 10 different people that you record, not record. You'll get a template and you write down the answers of your coachee. You write down what you have applied, and that is then going to make you an NLP master coach. Please address Illuminations biggest wellness center in Dubai, or look up Dr. Doris at drdorisnlp.com. Join us and you are so welcome.